My name's Joe Kuhlmann. I'm the owner here at the Evening Muse, and I just pay the bills.
All right. What was the inspiration, the venue inspiration, when you decided you wanted to open a place?
Well, it was more of a need. It wasn't so much an inspiration. There really wasn't a spot in Charlotte that helped cater to up and coming artists. There wasn't a spot that allowed singer-songwriters to really shine. So when the Muse started, it was really more of a need for Charlotte. There wasn't a place for singer-songwriters. There wasn't really a place for up-and-coming acts to kind of develop. Most of the venues were over 200 capacity, and so there really wasn't enough spaces that allowed acts to kind of grow and incubate. And then it kind of just happened really quickly, so we just jumped on it and ran with it.
Was there a place that you learned how to do the sound that you came to this conclusion to do everything the way you designed it? Where was the inspiration of that?
That was just from knowledge, from doing a bunch of shows and being a recording engineer and having done a lot of audio over the years. Good sound's not really that difficult. It's if you set up the room for success. So it's just my background.
Let's talk about some of your favorite performances here.
Honestly, one that I was really proud of was when Charlie Louvin played here from the Louvin Brothers. One of the first inductees in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And just the fact that he was so with it still and really was complimentary of the club and just really had a great time. And it was shortly before he died, it was like 3 months before he passed that he performed here. And everybody just had such a good time, and he was just it was more than just being a professional. He was just so comedic and joyful to be here, and it was really awesome to see that for somebody that had been through so much and then had been up and down. I mean, somebody that think about like Elvis Presley opened for them. It was really kind of an awesome thing. Some of the favorite acts over the years, I mean, there's so many. Spottiswoode and His Enemies comes to mind. Porterfield comes to mind. Some people that you may not have heard of that should really check out. Gosh, there's so many. It's not even fair. Desert Noises was a great band that used to come through here. Roman Candle. But the acts that everybody wants to hear about, like the Avett Brothers when they played here, and Sugarland playing here, the Civil Wars, that played some of their earliest shows here and stuff. So those were all great acts to see. But honestly, for me, I think what I enjoy most is kind of seeing people that come through and start out at the open mic, and you can tell that they're really working at something, and by just coming back and working at their craft and getting better and seeing them meeting other people and working on their music, eventually playing a show here, and then going on to do better things. It's stuff like that's really what I think I take the most joy out of.
Who are some of the people that help you develop this place? I mean, maybe explain the impact of the people that have worked here and the people that you've known, Rodley Lanier, the Costers.
Yeah. Well, Wes Robinson and Lee Pritchard were very instrumental in helping get the place off the ground. They were my partners at the beginning, and then slowly but surely they, went on to pursue other stuff. And today, the Costers are very, Don and Lori are very instrumental in stuff here. Max Music has been very helpful in promoting shows and doing some acts here. Mike Kitchen with Soul Kitchen's done stuff here. But we have a tight family. People that have worked here for a lot of years, and stick with it because they believe in the music and they believe in the artists, and it's a fun time.
I'm going to ask you to change gears for just a second.
Okay.
Tell me, if you can just be candid, some of the worst performances.
Well, one of my things, I'm always encouraging people to go for the gusto. Look inside of themselves and really kind of find what speaks to them and maybe doesn't speak to everyone else, because that's where the gems really kind of come from sometimes. There was one kid though that came in years ago. This was maybe in our very first year, and he put on a show, and it was music and performance art all in one. But it was a solo act, and he was playing guitar, and there weren't too many of us here. There were maybe 12 or 13 of us here, and we were concerned that he was going to possibly hurt himself on stage. It was so dramatic, and we were like, what's going on? And it was funny because there had been a situation, I think in New York, like a month or two before, where a guy had committed suicide on stage, and we were concerned that this guy was copycatting that. He performed under the name Vietnam, and he was doing this whole soliloquy about his dad coming back from war and not connecting with him, and his dad eventually hurting himself, and then he thought he might, and we were just like, we had 911 at the ready. We were concerned. We weren't sure what he was going to do, and that was definitely one that stands out as going up and talking to the guy afterwards and being like, hey man, are you okay? You need some help with, just talking about stuff. Yeah, that was definitely one that stands out as pretty bizarre. There's people that are on different levels of where they are musically, and I don't hold that to other people. Sometimes their courage is grander than their personal sensory, so I don't judge them on that or anything.
How about the audience? How's the audience changed over the last 15 years? How are people changed when they come in? Like the person that comes to the evening Muse or music shows in general?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, people are connected to their phones and their social media and stuff, so it's like they're trying to show that they're at some place and that they're important for being there, as opposed to just being present and being, witnessing what's going on. They feel like they got to document everything, and don't get me wrong, there's certain people that I enjoy archiving, whether it's the audio or capturing pictures or doing video and stuff. And those people, they're professional about it and stuff, but people that just bring their phones out to snap every picture and video every song, and I'm like, just stop and be here. You're losing out on the actual presence, and it's because they're addicted to their phones. I suffer from it myself, but I at least when it comes to the humanity aspect of it, I'm wanting to feel and hear it and sense it and taste it naturally and not through my phone. But a big part of the live music experience is realizing that you're not alone in the world, that there are other people that like what you like and that are there for the same reason that you are, and people are losing out on that positivity and that energy because they're all inside their phones or whatever, and it's just it's a little discouraging. I haven't quite figured out how to combat that. Oftentimes, if I see a bunch of people with their phones out before a show, I might say something over the PA, to, hey, if you're going to take pictures or whatever, do it in the first couple of songs, and then put your phones away and be here with all of us. So it's just something from observing the crowd.
Where do you see this place going in the next 15 years? And NODA, the neighborhood, are you happy about the development and the changes?
Well, it's one of those things, you have to choose your battles, and to me, the development's going to happen regardless. So it's embrace and figure out your positions and changes and stuff like that. Being, just like a stalwart and stick in the mud isn't going to do you any good. Besides, there's things that happen that you don't have any control over. So why bother fighting it or taking a negative look at it? Embrace it. Try to figure out your place in it. Try to figure out how to maximize and be a part of it, as opposed to just boo-hooing over everything. I definitely don't want to see any more music venues going away because of the development, or art galleries, or performance spaces and stuff. We need all of that. We need more. So, but instead of it's not something worth, I think, you fight. I think it's something that you react and, you know, dodge and, you know, make your moves based on that as opposed to fighting. It's just development and stuff like that. It's way bigger than any one person, so I don't think that's something that you fight. I think that's something that you if you're paying attention, you know it's coming, and you kind of pick your moves and stuff like that around it.
Sometimes this venue has gotten bands under pseudonyms, or there's like maybe like Jim Avett will come in, like the Avett Brothers will show up and play on stage with him. Are there any bands in particular that you always just want to give a shout out?
Honestly, I try to keep that stuff where the fans know about it, and it's really not my place to kind of go and just like plaster it all over the place. But you know, I mean, different folks from different successful acts have come in from time to time and played under, you know, their other band names and stuff, and that's cool. You know, they still realize that playing to 100 people or 120 people or whatever is more of a challenge sometimes than playing to thousands of people. Interpersonal, making those connections with fewer people, you have to make that much stronger of a connection with each of them, and it's tough, and there's a lot of artists that really still enjoy that more so than, you know, when you play on a big arena stage or whatever, chances are you're 20 or 30 feet away from the closest person, and typically the closest person has their back to you because they're security. So they, you know, and I've been on those stages, and I remember, you know, playing to the back of guys' heads because that's the first person that you see, and, you know, you might only, because of the lighting and stuff, you might only see, you know, 5 rows of people, and but still you have to perform to the back of the room in those big situations. I think that a lot of the successful, you know, folks, you know, still enjoy coming and meeting people face to face and seeing their fans. So that's what we try to provide for someone.
Is there anything you want to tell potential concert goers? Are there any big projects you have coming up that people should know about?
There's some things that are going on. Not really ready to quite talk about all of that. But yeah, we've got some really cool plans in the works. There's, you know, securing things for the Muse to be here for a long time to come is one of those. We're hoping to you know, just kind of grow with Charlotte. I stress the fact that, you know, you need to have a small, intimate room so that the artist can really learn how their music's working. A lot of times if you play to just a bunch of friends, it doesn't exactly translate. People don't realize that, you know, you have to win over a room sometimes. And granted, this room, people do tend to be respectful, which is important. We're trying to get that message out to more people that, you know, hey, there's somebody up there on stage pouring their heart out, and we want them to feel respected and received. But as far as any big major plans, yeah, we've got some stuff working on, but we're going to keep that still close to the chest for a little while. Sorry.
That's good, man.
I appreciate you taking the time.
It's Joe Kuhlmann, everybody, of the Evening Muse.